take this throw in, and from the movement inside of the area, he's fully expected to be a long throw into the area. The closest player he's got to him is Matthijs de Ligt on the edge of the 6-yard box. And then Euro making a run towards the near post as well. He's directed towards Euro. This Clemens hasn't quite got all the way through. And Casemiro punches at the ball to try and get it into the goal. And Henderson holds on to the ball from the goal line. And it calls upon the Crystal Palace fans to give a big ball support towards the players within the opening minute. A long ball into the area is headed on towards the back post. Crystal Palace couldn't quite clear the lines. And Casemiro from around about 3 yards out couldn't chip the ball quite over Dean Henderson. And he's managed to hold on to the ball, and he's passed out to Adam Morton. He's dispossessed in the middle by Bruno Fernandes. He's passed through to Zirkzee. He's dispossessed by Kamada. Back towards his own area now to Mark Gay. Across to Lacroix. He's got Richards to his right-hand side. Wants to give the ball to him. Still on the edge of the area first, which is quite Nebig. Invites the pressure from Mason Mount. Back he goes to Henderson. Inside the 6-yard box onto his left foot ball. Ball upfield. Mateta's going to give chase, but Luke Shaw covers that well as a sweeper roll. Just behind Matthijs de Ligt, who missed out on the ball. He gets it back to Lemens. Lemens waits for the pressure of Mateta before getting the ball away. Headed there by Nunes. Now from Walton. Back towards Nunes. But Dallo intercepts. Down the left-hand side to Mason Mount. Now inside to Casemiro. Out to the right-hand side. Just behind Diallo. It stops his momentum. He has to go back towards his own area, though, with the pass now to Matthijs de Ligt. And Manchester United will take the time and slow things down inside of their own half. With Matthijs de Ligt inside of the centre circle. Now to Lenny Yorrell, back to de Ligt again. The pressure was coming from Yerli Pino. Comes with de Ligt just outside of the centre circle. Mateta closes him down, out to the left-hand side to Luke Shaw. Now Ismail Sarr gets there. Shaw's forced to go back to his own goalkeeper, just inside of the area. Crystal Palace now moving in unity further upfield. It's putting Manchester United under a bit more pressure out to the right-hand side now for Diallo. He's closed down by Tyreek Mitchell. Tries to dribble this inside. Tackle made by Mitchell. Rob Jones says it was a foul, and a free kick's given to Manchester United by the touchline out on the right-hand side, inside of their own half. And the bright start from both of these sides. Casemiro will be disappointed in himself for not capitalising on that chance from a couple of yards out against Henderson. It's not the greatest of starts for Crystal Palace defensively. Normally switched on much earlier than they have been in this game, but we're in 3 minutes and Manchester United could have themselves an early lead. But Sarr now makes the break down the right hand side. He's been chased down by Dallo, well with by Diogo Dallo, kept in play there by Bruno Fernandes. Now to Casemiro. Sarr's down, holding on to his ankle as Manchester United play on and come out with the ball, and Bruno Fernandes just stopped things for now. The physio to come on and check just the situation of Ismail Sarr. He's pounding his hand onto the floor in a lot of discomfort at the moment. Rob Jones goes over to check on the situation, just looking at, oh, it does look very nasty on how he's landed. It's a fair tackle from Diogo Dallo on that left-hand side. That is a foot to challenge him, but as Ismail Sarr's landed, he's landed very awkwardly. He's rolled it as he's landed, and he looks in a lot of pain. This could be quite a serious injury for Ismail Sarr, and it'll be a big blow to Crystal Palace if he is to leave the game in this early stages, and hopefully, if nothing too serious, they could keep him out for quite a while. It looked just with the weight and the portion which he landed, he just tried to read Daly's footing after going over Diogo Dallo from the tackle. It's just the awkwardness in which his ankle twisted as he landed on it. One of the Glasses looking towards his bench as potential replacements. I think he's already prepping one of those. He's got a couple available if he does need to keep the same formation, or does choose to keep that same formation. Devenica moving to a more defensive role to again alter things about. Will Hughes is another option. Has played on the one a couple of times in the past. And then of course there's Eddie Nketiah. You combine a lot of energy down that right-hand side. Should the decision be that we're going to be forced into an early change here for Crystal Palace. Physio is on checking with Ismail Sarr, and it looks like that even if he is going to be able to continue on with Glass and not wanting to take any chances, Sarr is back to his feet and he's walking to the sideline now, putting some weight onto that right ankle. Stood quite nasty with how he landed. He made a mistake with anything, it'll be a minor injury on the back of this, if not able to resume the remainder of this game. As Rob Jones dropped the ball for Luke Shaw, and Manchester United score up into Crystal Palace's half, and the game gets underway. Shaw gets the ball just inside of his own half on that left-hand side now, after a short pass to Diogo Dallo. Now back inside to Matthijs de Ligt to the side of the centre circle. Back to Shaw on the left-hand side, to look over his shoulder to make sure Sarr's not around him. He gives it to Dallo. He's keeping an eye on the Crystal Palace wing. This should return back to the fielders. Now it's with Mason Mount on the edge of the area. Plays it back to Dallo, back to Mount. By the touchline, can he get across to the area? Xerxes comes short. He's more the target man. The player that you'd want in the area if these crosses are going in. It's Dallo now to the touchline on his left hand side, gets the pass to Shaw. And Shaw back to Dallo. Chipped over the top towards Fernandez, headed behind and away by Maxence Le Point. He's still in the first quarter of the afternoon. And he's got to go through the visitors, Manchester United. Eduardo Fernandez with no time to waste. Heads over to that left-hand side. He's going to put an inch-running corner into the area. Veniero comes forward from the back. Matisse de Ligt in there as well. Zips the old surrounding towards the back of the 6-yard box. Sanero just moved it on the edge of the 6-yard box at the moment as everybody's back called Crystal Palace. Inch-running corner on its leg from Bruno Fernandes. And towards the back post, it's headed up in the air by James. He could have seconded the 10-headed goal, which knowing can't a strong punch from Dean Henderson gets the ball away, and Water chasing down the left-hand side from the poor pass from Chris Richards, and it's turned out to play for Dortmund Manchester United on the right-hand side. Maybe Sarr is back on the field, that he's made the decision he's going to try and run off the injury, but he's walking with a bit of a limp at the moment, so potential still there for Crystal Palace to continue with one of their more dangerous attacking players. And taken on the right-hand side by Diallo. Now to Mitchell. Mitchell to Mateta. Now Wharton. Forward to Pino. Pino out to the right-hand side. Finds his pass to Richards. Realizes that channel cut out by Diogo Dallo. Goes aside to Wharton. His Bailey Heights to LaCroix. And now across to Tyreek Mitchell. So on the edge of the area at the moment. Inside to Wharton. Over the top. Down the left-hand side. Into a channel away. It's going to be chased by Mateta. He's got support available, but he's beaten the leg. There's options in the middle as well from Mateta. He takes it into the area. Shrags the call with this aside. Netting on his way through. Goal kick to Manchester United. And immediately Mateta's arm goes up to apologise for the decision to take that solo. The rare options in the middle. It's a great first touch to beat Matthias de Ligt. He could beat him too easily though. If he's bearing down on goal, then the Euros in sheer mind as to whether to close Mateta down or cover the option in the middle. He's done the right thing by hesitating. And Dino was an option. Kept 5 yards to his right-hand side. Further over with his Mela Sarr. Manchester United with the goal kick. Flag shot by De Ligt. And Crystal Palace players are in that area as De Ligt would to raid. It allows Evans to do the exact same and take it to the edge of his area. Sapana's still backing away at the moment. Evans plays this out to his left-hand side now for sure. But towards the halfway line, waits for the pressure from Sarr. It's almost too late, but gets it back to Lemens at his penalty spot. Up to De Ligt, still pressure now on Manchester United as Lemens takes this touch just outside of the 6-yard box. Mateta closes him down on ball uphill, headed away by Richards. He's going to get out for the second tackle, and he's played out to Munoz on the right-hand side. Now inside to Wharton, back to Richards, across to Gay. Starts support down his left-hand side, goes into the middle to Kamada, back in his ball could pass the Dean Henderson to deal with, but he takes the touch away from Joshua Zerti. He has the clearance upfield, headed on by Mateta towards Sarr. We've run as if the injury never happened, so he seems to have managed to shake off whatever happened with his right ankle. Just the thought of how he landed on it as Casemiro goes into a tackle this time with Aichi Kamada. And it's Kamada that's committed the foul. And Casemiro's just holding on to his half area. Vido's being a bit of discomfort as well, and it's just one of those tackles where I think it's the trailing leg that's caught. Casemiro has tried to let this move across his body, and he's done so. Kamada's trying to put the tackle in. It is quite a rash tackle from the Crystal Palace midfielder. Free kick is given to Manchester United in a dangerous position. As again the centre backs make the way forward. Bruno Fernandes is stood over this free kick. Letzi stood on his own in an offside position at the moment, expecting Crystal Palace defenders perhaps to make the run back. Let's see Motson's in the middle as it is expected to put it on a press on this Crystal Palace defence. Quite a high line in the moment, around 30 yards out of his free kick. Plays on the edge of the area though. Is the furthest back for Crystal Palace. Kostovic was a little headed goalwards by Casemiro, but just wide. And a goal kick now to Crystal Palace. Dean Henderson will just slow things down slightly, allow his players to regroup. Not Dave was the one going up for the challenge with Casemiro. Away goes the goal kick by Dean Henderson out to the right-hand side towards the Tessa, but it's going to take a couple of bounces before going out to play deep inside of Manchester United's half. And then have it thrown out on the left-hand side now, taking a long throw down the line from Dallow towards Zirkzee in the channel. He's still by the touchline, gets tackled by Munaz, only gets the ball to Dallow though, now to Zirkzee, tries to feed it back through to Mason now, wasn't equal to it. And Wharton gets in there now to Mateta, looks out to his right-hand side for support, gets it out to Munaz by the touchline, who slows things down and back into his own half, chip ball back to Dean Henderson, who's got plenty of time at the edge of his own area. Played out to the front. Now Mason one man will close him down as the way it goes by Henderson up to move down halfway line. Mateta brings his down, it's a nice first touch, lays this off for his media Assad. Through does this out to the left-hand side by the touchline now, plays it back to Tyreek Mitchell. Brings it back to Mark Gay. Back to Mitchell again, now back to Gay. They all the way back to his goalkeeper, and Henderson takes it to his side of the area. Now to his right hand side for LaCroix. Croy further over for Richard. Richards down the right hand side, equal read by Dallow. This is from foot in, but it only goes to the Tete, and the Tete out to Munaz. It's the ball up again, fed through to him. It's to Wharton anyway, inside of Manchester United's half, out to Pino. Pino lays this up for Kamana, out to Mixer on the left-hand side, into the area, ball in towards the middle, dealt with well by Lenny Yoro, and it's going to be a throw on the left-hand side for Crystal Palace. Equal with the edge of the goalkeeper's area. Well wet and well built up again. Pino with the first touch to lay this off for Kamana. Nice ball down the left-hand side for Mitchell. He's going all the way through to the Teta, had it not been for the challenge from Lenny Yoro. The dust comes Rich Richards to take the throw in, and a long throw specialist of their own for Crystal Palace. We've already seen from Manchester United in a minute of the game that they were very close to hitting themselves on the score sheet from the long throw from Diogo Dallow. Just a pass for the hoop and show a step further in taking the lead through this as Richards has support around the 6-yard box. Long throw in towards the area. It's a great throw as well, headed on towards the edge of the area, pulls towards to the head directly towards Lemons, who holds on to the ball inside the 6-yard box on the second attempt. He's headed clear. I think it was Casemiro that got the header clear, and he just fell favourably to Adam Wharton. He had time to take a touch if he wanted it, but he still managed to keep his shot on target. Immense took the sting out of it with his first save, and then just dived onto the ball immediately before he's made it started. Parents on the effort and help from the men's to lap the other. That's in Burmel. Breeze out to Mitchell, inside to Kamada. Kamada forward towards Saar, tackled by Shaw. Now to the left hand side now with Yogo. There loses out to Pito. He tries to feed it through to Kamada. Hints that all the way through to Landers, who again will take a touch inside the 6-yard box and just maintain possession. Well, it was really stood there in possession at that point, trying to give under pressure immediately when he received the ball. The ball passed through by the pressure onto Manchester United, and now to the Shaw. That's to Delete. Out to Yoro. Rose on ball down the line. 13 heads this down into the midfield area. Man can't get there. And Adam Morton who feeds it back for the Hopes. Out to Minas. Now all the way back to Henderson. Munoz still offering support by the touchline as it goes back to Henderson. Now to the left hand side. And back to Henderson again. Clearance out onto the left hand side. It's headed down by Casemiro. One back by Kamada, takes it back towards the own goal and has to bring Henderson back into play. It's on the edge of the 6-yard box, not moving. No space to take this towards the edge of the area, no real pressure either. Eventually Zaytu will close him down. And away it goes by Henderson up towards Mateta, headed by Delict. He's bounced back off from Manchester United player. There's a chance here from Mateta. He's bearing down on goal and he's dragged it just wide. And there goes the best chance of the game for Crystal Palace. It was headed clear by Delict. He bounced back off of, I believe it came off of Lenny Yoro into the path of Mateta, which meant Mateta was definitely onside. He perhaps had another touch before having to take his shot, but he was wolfed to take it early because of the recovery from Lenny Yoro. And he dragged it just wide of the goal. For a player that's been so clinical in terms of goal throughout this season for Crystal Palace and creating chances as well. That's one that he really willed and expected himself to have gone on target. Headed away now by Richard from the goal kick. Down to Shaw. Plus Bruno Fernandes now to Lenny Yoro. On to his right hand side and down the line it goes to Diallo. With it to Brian and Burmel. Takes this towards the touchline. Finds the overlapping room from Diallo. Closed down by Tyreek Mitchell. Still with Diallo towards the quarter flag. Plays it back towards Brian and Burmel. But MatchDay gets the tackle in, and it's going to be a third to Manchester United on the right-hand side. Now they're with the edge of the area at the moment. Still Stews. And that Diallo to take this. Sports options available for it. He's going to leave it now for Diogo Dalot as he gets himself towards the edge of the area. A long throw expected again by Manchester United into the area, and it's a strong throw by Dalot, headed away. Chased down by Nunes. He's flicked this on. He's going to be chased down further by Mateta, but Shaw gets there first and plays all the way back for his goalkeeper, and it allows Manchester United to be really good defensively. And the exact same for Crystal Palace if the men's plays this short now for Youngern. Euro has space to take it up towards the halfway line, gives it to De Ligt, 5 yards to his left, still inside of Manchester United's half. Patiently waiting at Crystal Palace at the moment. They've got players in all the channels stopping. Forward pass from De Ligt, that's go to his left to Luke Shaw, ball over the top towards Zerzi. He's under pressure there from Chris Richards, who does win it back eventually and plays this out to Henderson. Takes a touch inside the 6-yard box and away it goes. Shaw brings this down for Dalot. He'll make the run through the middle. He's had that one for Bruno Fernandes, who takes it into his own half. Switches us out to the right-hand side. Will pass out to Diallo. He folds it well, but he's under pressure from Tyreek Mitchell. Switches to Brian Mbeumo down the line, headed away. Now to play by Mark Gady, and the referee's done with his linesman. Dylan, this is a free kick to Crystal Palace, and Rob Jones will go across now. I just have a quick word with Brian Mbeumo, who's thrown the ball down in frustration, and he'll receive a yellow card as a result. Bruno Fernandes just explaining to Mbeumo to calm things down. He's shouted exits towards the linesman at the same time as throwing the ball down, and that's why Rob Jones has taken no chance. He's stamped authority on with the first opportunity that he's got. The opening 20 minutes of the game is this real challenge that I say he's even deserved the yellow card. Wasn't really the challenges in book 4. Dean Henderson will come out and take the free kick from the left-hand side. Inside of where the mine is. Still it goes, headed on into a channel to Nords. Tyreek Mitchell, who's let that run behind. It'll be the first ball of the afternoon now for Crystal Palace. Out on the left-hand side. Flick on Joshua Zerzi. He jumps into that area to chase down by Nenny Garl, who couldn't keep it playing. Plays up from the back again for Crystal Palace. You've got Mark Gay, MatchDay, and Chris Richards all in the area at the moment. Intrude corner expected. Lamens under some pressure inside of the 6-yard box. In goes in, swinging corner towards the middle. It's evaded everybody. Then he chased out of the back post by Dalot. Maybe knee sawed in instead of going out from the corner. He's kept it in play, and he's got to try and launch counter attack down the left-hand side. Plays it through for Mbeumo. He's up against Richards at the moment. He doesn't have any immediate support. Eventually finds Zerzi. Make the spawn off for Casemiro. Still attempt for Manchester United. Forward to Diallo. Burst touch is heavy. Will back in the midfield area by Wharton. He's brought down. Referee waves away the free kick. And Crystal Palace win the ball back, and he was about to blow for a free kick in that direction. Instead doesn't. It's a through ball now for Ismail Assar inside the area across his box. It's a corner for Crystal Palace out on the right hand side. De Ligt throwing his body in the way. The ball across the middle for Ismail Assar. But 2 challenges that could have been a free kick, one for either side in the opposite side of the field. First on Diallo from Kamada. Another one just a second later. One for either side of the referee. Away and just allow play to continue, and then if Ismail Assar's cross, drag it back to the edge of the area. Kamada was offering support, and it was turned behind in the end by the tackle from De Ligt, and got an absolute corner on its way from the left-hand side. Wilson's corner goes in towards the back post, headed back across the middle by Richards, cleared away by De Ligt. Only as far as the edge of the area, cross back in towards the middle. Richards would try and get a second and maybe even third attempt at getting the shot away. And as the flag stays down, it will be a third corner for Crystal Palace out on the left-hand side as they continue to pressure this Manchester United defence. Richard ball back across the middle, caused all sorts of problems, and then Pino's ball back towards the back post. And it was the toe poke from Diogo Dalot. They immediately looked towards the line, hoping that Richards was in an offside position. It was waved away. And now the Yeremy Pino to take the corner. The inning swinging corner for Crystal Palace. Out on the left-hand side this time, plays remain forward, still plays back for Manchester United in towards the middle, headed goalward, but just over. And he's still their goal kick now as a result of Matthias the Croix header, winning it around the penalty spot. But again, Manchester United defensively in these set pieces, they're really struggling to win the first and even the second one. This is proven a moment of doubt. It's centre-back to the target to the edge line. And it can't be kept down by Crystal Palace. Centre-back MatchCentre the point. It'll be a goal kick to Manchester United now, with the men's to take. Out to the left-hand side, headed down by Richards. A bit of throw-in on the left-hand side for Manchester United. Stella will go across the tape. Good nonsense. Caroline throws it through the middle, which leads well towards Casemiro. And then on by Bruno Fernandes. Feltonledge in the back, nothing given. Throwing to Crystal Palace as he flips the ball on. Not too many complaints from Manchester United personnel either, and that was a free kick in there, Craven. Pendle Bruno goes across to take the throw in. Does it down and first time play from Kamado, built towards the halfway on, away by Casemiro. Slashed it, if anything, just out to play. It'll be another throw into Crystal Palace, 10 yards further forward down that right hand side. Crystal Palace supporters find their voice. Really urging this side on. And a statement win would come against Manchester United. He's thrown inside to Wharton, pass across the middle, is now with Brian and Boom, now out to the left hand side to Zirzi. Blocked by Chris Richards again, and that's Casemiro, loses it out on possession, and Kamada nearly challenges on it, but it's held to Dello. Headed away by Richards, in towards Wharton again. Richards there again on the return ball back towards Mason Mount, and Dello running through, flipped by Daniel Munoz, and wins a free kick by the touchline on the left hand side. Munoz fills in, it's an innocent coming together of legs, and the referee disagrees. And it'll be a free kick to Manchester United as we reach the halfway points of this first half. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0. Both teams trying to create something, but being very patient in the build-up to it. Both had a very good chance to get themselves on the score sheet. Casemiro could have come, but it's from 3 yards out, and set to bury it down on goal with his chance after a ricocheted header from the late bounce back of Lenny Yoro. QR just tried this 22.5 minutes done. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0 there at SelhurstPark, and a free kick now on the left hand side. Casemiro and Fernandes both stood over this free kick. I think it would be Fernandes that pushed this in, swinging court, the free kick into the area. Doesn't do so. Instead it's going to get out swinging. It still goes towards the penalty area, headed away on the first attempt, and Pino's ball pushed it back in towards the dangerous area, headed on, and out comes Henderson with authority to catch the ball in and amongst the Crystal Palace defenders. He'll take his time, as Jerry Pino frustrated that he got a breakaway on the left hand side, and Henderson opted against it. Out to Richards now, down the right hand side, fired and Walton by the touchline. Walton further forward towards Ismail Sarr, tackle made by Diogo Dalot. It takes the pounce and headed away by De Ligt. Back into Manchester United half, the on by Pino, that'll be chased down by Sarr. And it's out to the left hand side near Dalot, still under some pressure, gets the pass up into the middle to Casemiro. It's the toe choice, lock it on towards Brian and Burma, but Gay is there to win it back for Crystal Palace. Now a chance to break away with Wharton. Wharton lets the pass off, which made it Sarr back to the edge of the area, saying goal, which the player held well. And I think a free kick's been given instead. Crystal Palace now, he's allowed it to continue. And the shot taken away. One makes that the right decision. There's a late tackle from Casemiro on Wharton. Crystal Palace did have a good advantage, and they got the shots away by the Kamada. Now the men drops this to the edge of the area. Plays up short to Luke Shaw. Sarr still out on his right hand side, just cuts out the channel towards Mason Mount as it is coming back defensively. Plays it across instead to De Ligt and back to Shaw. Well disciplined at the moment, Crystal Palace defensively. They're playing as a unit. Midfield's working back and front as well. Away goes by Casemiro, chased down by Zirkzee, headed back by Ricketts all the way back to his goalkeeper. Dean Henderson inside of the area, just holding on to the ball now and rolls it out to MatchCentre the Croy. You have right hand side, on tackle by Shaw, now there's 30 on the edge of the area. He comes in, but it's played back to Casemiro now with Mount on the edge of the area on the left hand side, which is still one-sided. Cross comes in towards the middle, headed away by Gay. Balls to Diallo, tried to win it back towards Burmo. For this, the target meant towards the back post, both at Burmo and Diallo, and it made it all too easy for Mark Gay to get the clearance away. Still in Manchester United's half, still in Manchester United's possession though, with Shaw out to Mason Mount, back to Shaw. Around the halfway line. Go down to the left hand side now for Diogo Dalot, back to Shaw, still at the halfway line. Goes into his own half now across to Matisse de Ligt in the centre third, but on to the right hand side for Yoran. Heroes through the middle for Zirkzee. Tackle made then by Mark Gay. Referee last way to continue, and he's better through for Saar, but Luke Shaw's first to it. Helps it back to his goalkeeper. It cuts out the chance that Crystal Palace had of closing this pressure down and building the momentum. But Walton wins it back in midfield. Now to Munoz. Munoz has a breakaway. There's a slid there from Bruno Fernandes. Crossing towards the middle. Strong hand from Lamens. He's fallen to the back post to Yellow. Can't get his shot away. He's blocked in the end. And Pino can't get a clear shot away. And it's now a breakaway for Manchester United with Bruno Fernandes. Ball out to the right-hand side, headed away by Gay. He brought down by Kamada. Now with Chris Richards. It was Pino on the back post that couldn't get a shot away. It was Euro. It was during the tackle in. Because his goalkeeper was actually his area. Come out to play with the first attempt and just pushed it away straight into the path of Jeremy Pino. Now with the Croy. Has to beat his man, but it's well read by Mason Mount. And then back to Manchester United, back into his own half now with Matisse Delit. It's up towards the back post, and the Croy takes no chances and heads that behind for a corner to Manchester United out on the left-hand side. Mr. Melnick, was a breakaway by Munoz on the right-hand side. Bruno Fernandes had lost his footing, and he blocked out the run back that was being made by Amad Diallo. And he felt Pino at the back post, brought it down on his chest. His effort was blocked well by Yereli Pino. And then Madiero got in the way. Mendes was trying to lead a ground from the moments just before where he puts the ball into the direction. Now an interesting corner on the left-hand side from Bruno Fernandes. Then options in the middle. Maybe the Saar was turned away, but no. Felix Zaka on him. The edge of their own area. It does just calm things down. Miller Henderson will be the one to take this, sends his players up towards the half. Too early in the path for Diallo, and it's going to be a throw to Crystal Palace in front of the technical area. And back inside now for Kamada. Kamada towards the edge of the area, plays it through to mid-centre. Interception by Delit, but he's led away on this left-hand side. Mason Mount, he's really excited to Richards. But Adam Walton's back helping out and brings it back for Crystal Palace now with Munoz. Now to Walton, then Saar. Tackle from Shaw, slight tackle comes in from Adam Walton, wins it back to Palace again. Now it's to the left-hand side. Pino can't get there, and the tackle from Diallo. The referee saying it came off of Pino last. And it'll be a throw into Manchester United out on that right-hand side as Amad Diallo goes across to take it. Starting with the winger with Manchester United, but both to ball win back roll. Practice personnel options. And then back by Day, back to Martin. Martin to mid-setting. Back to Milton. Walking on the top to the left-hand side. Diallo, bumming those two to ground out, but he still managed to win it back for United. That's Casemiro. Now Mount towards Zirkzee. Bounced back off the deal at Zirkzee, trying to make a run between Richards and the Croy. And he comes back with Crystal Palace at the moment. Sounding Richards on the edge of the area. On the right-hand side from Munoz. And there's back to Richards. Turns down on towards Viteffi, being held up at the moment. Husbands Jerry Pino to help out. Free kicks being given in Manchester United's favour, saving the arms around the back of Madiero. A bit masked, but didn't hesitate, and Crystal Palace didn't argue. And now this plays back to Delit, over the top towards Diallo, but it's bounced all the way through to Dean Henderson. Dunches it on the bounce inside of his area. Back to his 6-yard box now. They're putting the ball down. Six and pressure in. That's it. Deploying. Richard. Through the middle, headed down by Casemiro. And some Burma. That's Casemiro on the edge of the area. Plays it back to Shaw. Ball then across the middle to Joran. Delete. It goes all the way back to Steve Burnage with Mamins just on the edge of the area. Takes back into his area. Can't pick the ball up. It's played back by them player. Now to Joran. Close down by Bino. And they go back to Mamins. Back out to Leniolo again into the area. Turn your top it those down the right hand side. Headed away by MatchDay towards the centre circle. Now ManUnitedMatch out to the right hand side. Repeato back to Morton and now Passar. Now Mateta. He's holding this open, so making a run, but Mateta can make a run towards the edge of the area himself. First to get the cross in is blocked. It falls back to Mateta. He's under pressure by Diallo. Still on the edge of the area at the moment. Has support available. Did it back to Tyreek Mitchell. Further back to Kamara. Inside to Wharton. Wharton now back to Mateta. Inside of the area. He's brought down. No hesitation from Rob Jones to point to the spot. It's a Crystal Palace penalty. And clumsy challenge from Lenny Yoro. It's a well-placed pass from Adam Wharton through the middle to Mateta. He takes a touch into the area. As his line look to get his shots away. Still looking at the replay to see. It's just the knee is letting the Euro started to go down. I don't know if he's lost his punching on the way. Really looks like his knee perhaps. It's caught the heel of Mateta and he's gone down. Rob Jones didn't take any time to hesitate and pointed straight to the spot. The Crystal Palace penalty. And the Tete is back to his feet to take this himself. So, Lemons against Mateta from the spot. Rob Jones just telling him he needs to place the ball down, ensuring that all players are outside of the area. Chance for Crystal Palace. Chance for Mateta. Takes a deep breath. The whistle's gone. He takes a run up, sends the keeper the wrong way. No mistake. Into the bottom corner from Jean-Philippe Mateta to make it Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0. And it's a mistake again from Manchester United defensive. We've had a lot of work to do inside of this first half so far, and they've dealt with it quite well. Apart from the one chance that did fall to Mateta on the edge of the area that he dragged wide. Otherwise, Manchester United have stood quite firm. I don't think it was a tackle that necessarily needed to be made by Lenny Yoro that led to the penalty. But Mateta has made no mistake from the spot. It will add to an already impressive tally this season. It is now, with 33 minutes on the clock, Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0. And the side that concedes so few goals in the Premier League will now need to be broken down by a Manchester United side that, other than in the first minute when Casemiro had a chance, well, we are having a VAR check on something extremely bizarre. The penalty has been taken, and the referee should explain to the two captains there's a potential double touch from Mateta. The chicken is potentially, when he's stepping up to take this penalty, his left foot has caught the ball before his right foot has. And Rob Jones is just checking the penalty over. I've not actually seen this happen in the Premier League since the introduction of VAR. But we are checking for a double touch. And the decision is accidental double touch by Mateta. So the penalty will be retaken. So a second chance for Manchester United. I'm just going to check. Oh, so when his right foot has come through to take the penalty, It has bounced the ball off of his left foot from where he's placed it. And nobody argued against that. Nobody saw it happen. And I get it real time. It's very difficult to see it happen. But now, it's tougher to score the penalty the second time around, but he's got a second chance to save it. As Sen Lemons, who's up against Mateta once again. The chance from the spot. Sends it the opposite direction. The keeper dives the opposite direction again. And it's Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0 for a second time. And Mateta will repeat the celebration. The men has went the direction in which the first penalty did. Mateta went the direction in which the goalkeeper did the first time around. And Crystal Palace fans will have a second chance to celebrate. 36 minutes on the clock and potentially in after 4 minutes at the end of this first half. But Mateta makes no mistake. And this time kept his foot firmly away from the ball, so that his striking foot could make sure it did the job. Crystal Palace 1 at Manchester United 0. Here's the scoreline. As United will this time get things back underway for us. I imagine it would be the same as it was when we got the game underway, with Brian and Mbeumo doing the honours. And it will do on the whistle of Rob Jones. Plays it all the way back to the men's on the edge of his area. And he gets the ball away upfield deep into Crystal Palace's half. This time the header is won by Rittich back towards the halfway line. Headed down by Pino towards Wharton. Wharton out to the left-hand side with Mateta again. He's in confidence at the moment. He's in stride. Out to Pino on the edge of the area. Chance for Palace to double. And he's been tripped there inside the area. Once another penalty has been given in Manchester United's favour as a free kick on the edge of the area, this time by Rob Jones, saying that when Pino went down, he tripped Lenny Yoro. But now Crystal Palace will make a change, and I think this may be a fourth change. If you're with us from the beginning, you remember that there was an injury to Ismail Assar. He tried to run this off, and he played the remaining 15-20 minutes with what looks like a bit of a nut. But now Crystal Palace have the lead. Perhaps that requirement isn't so much needed. And Ismail Assar will leave the field, and he will be replaced by Eddie Nketiah. YSU will undertake the same role as Sam is doing. And he will move straight out onto the right-hand side as Manchester United get things back on the way with a pass from Delates out to Luke Shaw. So, by the touchline on this left-hand side, down the line to the Dada, tackle made by Nketiah, thrown on the left-hand side now for Manchester United. And taken by Dallin. Turns us back towards his own half to Luke Shaw. And inside to Delate. A lot of work now in that final third from Manchester United to meet the on by Fernandez. Headed down by Diodo Dallo with Zerzi on the edge of the area. Walks it out towards Dino, and now it's with Mateta up to the right hand side, and a breakaway now for Daniel Munoz by the touchline. Takes us to the edge of the area, plays it across towards Wharton. He's letting it run, and away it goes by Casemiro. His possession back to Kamane. Now with Munoz, opens up across, Champs goes in towards Mateta, is headed away by De Ligt. Now to Mitchell on the edge of the area. Still with Crystal Palace at the moment, brings this back to Mark Gay. The cross now towards Mitchell again. Cross low and hard comes in, headed away by Casemiro, cleared away by Mbeumo. Now towards Zerzi, a breakaway for Diallo on the right hand side. Plays this down the line, but it goes down by Lacroix. He forces Diallo to go back towards his own half. Now with Brian Mbeumo, still the lap run. He's got rid of Tyreek Mitchell. This slows down by Lacroix, and eventually it's going to be a burn to United on the right hand side. Mbeumo makes that surgery run down the right hand side. And Dano and a chance on the edge of the area. Alonso into the box with Yaro and Delict in there as well. Towards the 6-yard box he goes, but time towards the middle. It's been all the way through. It's eventually made away by Richards and behind. And there'll be another Manchester United corner out on the right hand side. But almost maybe played all the way through towards Joshua Zerzi. Adanson and corner from that right-hand side is, but it makes it way to the area. Luke Shaw's in there as well. That's something that throughout his career has been known for being quite a threat inside of the area. He's more on the edge of the area, usually lurking around for a chance to get the ball back in. Shaw, Dallow, Delect, all around the back post of the 6-yard box. Run by Crystal Palace players. Henderson sprinted free inside of the 6-yard box. He's leading corner way by Inverno. In towards the near post. Headed away by Mateta. Edge of the area headed down by Bruno Fernandes. It's now with Diallo. A chance to get the ball back in. If they goes across towards Fernandes. Cross back in towards the middle by Bruno Fernandes. Strong hand away by Henderson. He calls to Diallo. Back towards the back post. Ziggs is going to try and keep this in play. He goes and he plays it back to Inverno. As he takes on puts the crossing, gives it back to Fernandes. Strong cross it and headed away by Richard. Onto the edge of the area with Dallow. Dallow's cross back in towards the middle. Headed away by Richards again. And then Warchett eventually clears the lines up towards the halfway line. Shaw's going to get there and heads it out right now to Bruno Fernandes. He was closed out by 2 players. Fernandes gets the overlapping run from Dallow. He's still a chance here with Manchester United at the moment. Back to Fernandes on the edge of the area. Practice goal with over a goal kick for Crystal Palace. Because he just slows things down. Went on the bounce, and he played back up, and Wade split White ended up in the stands instead of on target. And Dean Henderson's goal lead to the last 4 minutes of regular time at the end of this first half. Bruno Fernandes again issuing very frustrating instructions towards his teammates. Ruben Amorim also going to drop to them at half time to try and run at this Manchester United side. They've gone 1-0 down on 2 occasions in the first half. Mason Mount wins his side of throwing on that left-hand side. Dallow goes across the tape just this side of Manchester United's half. And throws this back to Luke Shaw. So over the top, played away by Richards and towards the middle, brought down by Casemiro. And then the throw-in on the left-hand side, tackle made by Daniel Munoz. Dallow again goes fast to take it, goes back into his own half towards Luke Shaw this time. Mid-Sherbet was further back across to Delect and back to Shaw. Top into the channel, headed down by Munoz, controlled by Bruno Fernandes, tackled by Wharton out on that right-hand side for Munoz to get there. He gets the ball away. It stayed in play. The lines here says no, it's got out and come back in. So the Manchester United throwing on that left-hand side. And the cross goes Dallow to take. Back towards the halfway line now with Rich Shaw. Back to Delint. And then back to Shaw. Shaw inside to Fernandes. Inside of Manchester United's half. Across to the left outside of the centre circle. Takes it into Crystal Palace's half. Helping Yoro. Now to Vermo. Back to Yoro. And the line was quite saying that the pass back to Lenny Yoro is going out to the point of the opponent to Crystal Palace. And at the moment they're just able to take the time of the host. They've got a 1-0 lead. And as it stands, Manchester United stood in to break down this Palace defence. It's not the early side is still, so it's been a struggle for most teams this year. Now sets up quite well defensively, as now it's with Lemons again on the edge of the 6-yard box, and away it goes to his left-hand side. All the way through by LaCroix and headed back by Marquette all the way back to Henderson. And it's interesting to see just like Crystal Palace will go defensively in the summer transfer window. Of course, on the deadline day from August, it is expected that MatchDay was to leave the club and go to Liverpool, but the final key moment, that plan fell through. Will it happen in January, or will it be kept all the way through to summer again, where Marquette will be expected to leave the club? Liverpool could do with a bit more support defensively, of course, and somebody like Marquette does very much fit the bill. It's just something they will revisit in January, knowing that Palace have more time to be able to find a replacement. Away goes held by LaCroix, down to Dalid. But the game has been quite quiet in this game. Manchester United haven't did too much down the right-hand side, and perhaps that's testament to just down with Marquette and Tyreek Mitchell have held out the LL end of Burnell. The tackle comes in from Casemiro, and a free kick will be given to Crystal Palace deep inside of their own half. And quite a fair challenge to me, and Casemiro feels the same. He's wide through watching, but he's also playing the ball on his way through with attacking as well. Hopkins. Free kick. As we reach the 45th minute of this first half, 5 minutes out of time has been given. It head away by Richards into Manchester United. Blitz on by Matete, played as far as Pino on the edge of the area. Can he get his shots away? Good tackle by Shaw. Pino's down and Shaw's down at the moment inside the area. Pino's back to his feet. Shaw is slow to get back to his feet. Manuro comes away with the ball. Tackle made by Kamada. Another rash challenge made, but he's just opposed to come away with the ball. Kamada's still down at the moment. Matete brings it back through, but he's with me to inside the area. Options in the middle, brings it back towards Matete. Casemiro's on hunt to win it back, and now he's had to run like Diallo. As Kamada's slow to get back to his feet, but he's starting to do so now. Decides Casemiro. Inside the centre circle, out to the right hand side for Birmo. Chest is down by the touchline, brings it inside. There's no support available. Corey plays it across the middle towards Mount. Eddie Nketiah gets the ball away. He's still with Diallo now on the right hand side. Fussed away by LaCroix. Now with Yoro. They're about to the centre circle. It's a delay to now to Luke Shaw. Now to Mason Mount. Now Dallo. Now Shaw. Push those in towards the back post. Mitchell neds this away and challenge. Read away by Pina. And headed on by Mitechi. He's hoping to be rid of Pina on the left hand side, but was equally to it. Now that it plays on his side to Shaw. So up towards for Banner's top. It has to go back to the late. Santensi has closed him down and now to Yoro. Left hand point. Sam's there from Diallo and inside to Casemiro and sets it and throws him in down. And Manchester United trying to make a break on the right hand side. They're pushed back into their own half. Now the first half's kind of gone at the moment. Crystal Palace stood so well defensively as it was a setup. They all really disciplined at the moment. And now Fernandez plays it back through and Dallo gets a breakaway down the left hand side. Push goes in towards the middle. Head away by Kamada. And Walter gets there just before he destined Fernandez. And Nketiah heads this down to Pino. Gets the ball back. Out to Nketiah on the left-hand side. It's been slid there through the leg. And Eddie Nketiah is racing down the left-hand side. Takes it into the area. He's not Minos to his right-hand side. Well read and blocked by Luke Shaw. Ball's back to Walter on the edge of the area. It's not a big gap for Manchester United. Walter brings it inside. Goes down once a free kick. Not divot. As now Manchester United come away with Casemiro. Now Zerti lays his ball up for Fernandez. Out to the left-hand side for Dallo. A breakaway now. Playable for Manchester United on the left-hand side. Dallo to the edge of the area, plays it across the middle. They flip Diallo on the edge of the area, puts it onto his favourite left foot, chip ball into the middle. But Diogo Dallo tries to find that lap run. And who knows if Bite helping out and Crystal Palace will play the lines again. Now Pino out to Nketiah. Nketiah falls back into his own half. Now Kamada over the top. It's back into Manchester United's half, but it allows Crystal Palace to beat Bruce to feel halfway through the added time at the end of this first half. It's with Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United desperately trying to get themselves on the score sheet before half time. Now Inferno, blocked by Gay. Away it goes by Pino. Back to Yoro on the right hand side. He's got Diallo still for support and Vermo running through the middle. Finds it through Diallo, which flows down and slows down the chance of Manchester United giving it across into the middle. And he's back to Matthews the late. Plus it goes now to Luke Shaw. You know, Dallo with man to support. Now gets it on the edge of the area. Left foot bust goes in towards the middle. Kamada heads this away. It's back into a dangerous area. And Munoz wins the header ahead of Mason Mount. It's out to Shaw. Now inside to Bruno Fernandes. Switches us out to the right hand side for Diallo. Brings us down under pressure from Mitchell. Can he keep it in play? Grant stays down. He has done so, and he plays it back to Burrow. Lets it run across his body. Turns to get the shot away, and he's challenged by Jeremy Pino, and it'll be a free kick to Manchester United on the edge of the area. To Burmo and perhaps Bruno Fernandes to be stood over this free kick as Luke Shaw makes his way into the area for a couple of very good challenges. It stops Crystal Palace from doubling their advantage. And Nketiah's last run down that left hand side due to them. Manchester United were losing his footing, and happened in the build up to the first goal as well. In the game's grid open, and there's through the middle it goes to MatchCentre. The referee blows for half-time. He's not blown for half-time. He's given a free kick to Manchester United, probably for half-time at the time that Crystal Palace was running through. He has blown. As the linesman's ran into the middle, he's blown for half-time before the 5 minutes of added time has been played, and MatchCentre is shouting up towards the supporters to give them that extra bit of momentum. Crystal Palace was on the break. We hadn't played the 5 minutes added time, but the referee has blown for half-time at SelhurstPark. It was only 4 seconds early, but MatchCentre was bearing down on goal. He should have been given the chance to at least get his shot away, if that's what he opted to do. But half. of Manchester United. Hanfield down the line, headed down by LaCroix. Kamada gets there. Plays it out to Tyree Mitchell. Continues his run down the left-hand side as Mitchell plays it over towards Mateta. Headed down by Matthijs de Ligt. Casemiro back to de Ligt. And then up to the right-hand side for Diallo. Through the middle towards Brian and Bermel. Away it goes by Kamada. Throwing on the right-hand side now for Manchester United. And Crystal Palace starting this second half very much on the back foot. They ended the first one in control. They could have had themselves maybe a second goal had it been for referee blowing the whistle just before the 5th minute of added time had been played as Diallo throws his back into his own half to Matthijs de Ligt. And he takes this across the middle to the left-hand side for Luke Shaw. Sergeant Burma. Now for Samiro to Zerti, lays this off to Burma, who's making the run forward. Out for his right-hand side, he's got support there with Amad Diallo. Takes it to the edge of the area, sends it goalwards instead of putting the cross in, and it just hits the side netting. And a goal kick to Crystal Palace, but again forcing Manchester United with any of these chances on the edge of the area. Either the sprinklers or a slight downpour that's taken place at our time has led to a couple of puddles in the wetter surface for this second half than we saw in the first. And Dean Henderson will take his time to take this goal kick on the left hand side as we complete the first 5 minutes of this second half. Towards Mateta, it's bounced over him and de Ligt gets there to head it away and he goes out for a throw into Crystal Palace on the left hand side. Custos, Chris Richards to take this. He's just told by the referee he needs to hurry up, which he does so, then gets a round of applause from the supporters as he makes his way to take the throw in. Options again in the box for him. Delanta around the 6-yard box. Up from the back comes Mark Gay and MatchCentre LaCroix. And there's a throw to the near post. Headed on towards Mateta. Can he get a shot away? No, he can't. Leniero gets there first this time. Towards the edge of the area goes his clear. Spino tries to put it back in the middle. And Zerti breaks away with Diallo. Good tackle by LaCroix. And he's fallen to water. Zerti puts the challenge in and gives a free kick away just outside the edge of the centre circle. Zerti goes and apologises to Adam Morton, who he didn't feel it originally fouled. Tackle initially to keep possession with Crystal Palace as Manchester United were starting to break away. Again, Mateta standing furthest man forward for Crystal Palace. It's been mobbed by Joshua Zirkzee. It's going to be Pino that takes the free kick over towards the back post. Headed in by Richards. Looks unless he roll across his body and Beno comes away with the ball. He's dripped by Daniel Munoz and there'll be a free kick now on the edge of the area to Manchester United, taking short, but Munoz is running back into position, gets there ahead of Diogo Dallo and gives a throw-in away, but it's much better than what it could have been. A throw-in on the left-hand side for Manchester United now. Taken short, over the top by Bruno Fernandes. Zirkzee turns on the ball to try and put it through for Bruno Fernandes. Didn't quite get it to him, as now the tackle's made by Fernandes in midfield against Nketiah, and Nketiah will receive a yellow card for this. Referee deems that a late tackle by the Crystal Palace substitute. Turns back on the ball and he's been held onto by Munoz, and it's just a sliding tackle through the middle from Eddie Nketiah. So surprised that Munoz weren't booked there as well. There were two of them that could have gone into the referee's book. And Fernandes stood over this free kick with options in the middle as Manchester United are preparing themselves to make their first change. It is Luis Masraoui that comes on. Fernandes stood over this free kick. Into the middle it goes. Joshua Zirkzee at the near post, gets in on his chest. Can he get it shot away? Yes, he can, and he's featured instead of the near post. And he's got it all the way through, and Manchester United are level. From the most acute of angles, Joshua Zirkzee finds himself in space, brings the pull down ahead of his marker. And his left foot plays it across the pitch of goal, and he somehow gives through the legs of Dean Henderson at his near post. It's a simple ball to got to see from Crystal Palace. Just looking at the replay to determine if he's onside. He is most certainly onside. But it got the run there with Eddie Nketiah. Putting a cute angle. I think Henderson was more expected the ball to go across the face of goal. He got the run of Eddie Nketiah. He managed to beat Daichi Kamada to the ball also on the edge of the 6-yard box. And across the face it's gone. And the celebration from the Manchester United bench may just have put a hold to the substitution they were going to make. It's not, as it happens. We're now going to see that change anyway, but he just told MatchDay perhaps to wait a moment. And Joshua Zirkzee on the score sheet for Manchester United. Many United fans have been feeling that he needs to contribute something whilst he's got this chance, while Sesko is out injured, while Cunha is out injured. Get himself on the score sheet with a goal like that. Won't have gone far run for him. Change is that Mazraoui is going to come on for Lenny Yoro. He has struggled in this game so far, not just by conceding the penalty. He's lost out on plenty of challenges against Jeremy Pino, and the head in the hands on the bench indicates just enough of how frustrated he is with his own performance. Diallo brings this inside. Pino battling at the moment to win it back with Mitchell. Pino then knocks the ball down past Diallo, who's tackled. Would you have given a free kick to Crystal Palace, said Rob Jones. Neri Pino from just inside of Crystal Palace's half will be the one to take this free kick. Over the top it goes. Nunes is going to try and keep this in play. He's not going to do so. And it goes out for a goal kick. It wasn't the greatest of free kicks towards the back post. And Stun all the way through. Big goal kick to Manchester United. United does now to Mazraoui. Mazraoui over the top towards Zirkzee, holds this up. Headed by Gay, inside now for Kamada. Kamada forward towards Eddie Nketiah. Out to Pino on the left-hand side. Pino looks to the overlapping rid of Nketiah. He gets there, just ahead of Tyreek Mitchell. Plays it back to Mark Gay. Through the middle. Cleared away as far as Nketiah on the edge of the area. Now to Kamada. Now Nketiah gets his shots away, but he's blocked. Balls to Burmo, tries to beat his man on the inside. He's up against the Croy, who does well to win it back for Crystal Palace. Now Nketiah again. And the tackle's made and a free kick's given in Crystal Palace's favour against Amad Diallo. For his tackle on Nketiah, who's getting himself involved in that final third. It seems to have woke up this Crystal Palace side, who was still in the changing room from half-time at the time of Manchester United's equaliser. They'd not yet come out for the second half. It was very much back foot stuff from the hosts. They were under a lot of pressure. Eventually it crumbled, and now Pino from just outside of the edge of the centre circle will take this free kick. Nitafit plays to make a run into the area. Lofted ball over towards the back post, headed into the middle by Lecoy. He's off goal, it's cleared against Zirkzee, and it's turned behind for a corner. And I think it will actually be, I'm not sure if it's going to be a free kick to Manchester United, headed back in towards the middle. And a short clearance bounces back off Zirkzee and goes behind. Manchester United, that could very easily have gone in. It will be a Crystal Palace corner on that right hand side, and Wharton goes across to take it for an in-swinging corner. I'm in the 6-yard box at the moment. He goes towards the near post, headed away by Delate. He'll be chased down by Walton for a second attempt into the area and gets the cross back in, headed away by Mazraoui. Is with Ricketts on the edges of the area. Tackles goes in from Diallo and headed away by Diogo Dallo, now with Munoz. on the right-hand side. He tries to get it through to Yerry Pino, but the flag goes up against him, and a free kick will now be given to Manchester United on the edge of their area. Very delayed decision for the flag up by the linesman. Play shot now to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes out left to Shaw. Shaw makes the run down the left-hand side. He's beating his man as well. He's up against Nketiah at the moment. Munoz gets the challenge in. Plays it back to his goalkeeper, and away goes by Henderson on the first attempt. Up towards the halfway line. Takes a bounce past Bruno Fernandes. It's back into Crystal Palace's half by De Ligt. Going out by Casemiro. Brings De Ligt back into the game. Now inside to Fernandes. And there's out left for Mason Mount. Now Shaw. Back inside to Mount. Has that run there from Bruno Fernandes, but the pro is equal to it, and he concedes a throw in, but it's on the left-hand side. Thrown back by Bruno Fernandes to Luke Shaw. Cross to De Ligt, and De Ligt's ball over the top to Zirkzee. Good day for everybody. And we'll go out to play for a goal kick now to Crystal Palace. Bruno Fernandes now goes straight fifth in most assists for Manchester United in Premier League history, level with Paul Scholes. Still remains some way off the top three of David Beckham on 80, Wayne Rooney on 93, and of course Ryan Giggs on 162. But 55 assists for Bruno Fernandes. As he was hoping for corner, and the referees waved that away and told Bruno Fernandes to step away. It will be a goal kick to Crystal Palace that Henderson will take. And I think the Manchester United captain is just hoping the Palace don't take too long, that it puts away their efforts of building on this momentum they brought with them into this second half. Nketiah gets there, lays this off from Mateta on the edge of the area. Mateta sends his shot goalwards, it's wide. It'll be a goal kick. Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes just having a very harsh discussion with each other. Similar to what we got to see when Everton took on Manchester United last weekend, that led to a dismissal, but there were no hands thrown on this occasion. Ball kick from Lamins, played short to Luke Shaw, and back to Lamins, who takes this to the edge of his area. Then out to Luke Shaw on the left, find the touchline, then Nketiah moves across. Bulldoze over the top in the channel, flicks on by Zirkzee into the path of Mason Mount, continues gliding forward. He's tripped on the edge of the area by Margay as he tries to bring it inside for Amad Diallo, and a free kick's been given just as Crystal Palace were preparing to come away with the ball. Diallo just held back to his feet by Margay, who was trying to contest his innocence just a moment ago. Diallo knocked the ball past him. He's then ran into Margay. I can understand the argument from Margay's perspective, but I also understand it from Diogo Dalot. He's welcomed that challenge. And Crystal Palace captain concedes a free kick in a very dangerous position. Stood over this at the moment is Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount. Goal earlier from Manchester United for them. Second on set-piece goals after Bruno Fernandes' assist. Kick ball over the top for Joshua Zirkzee. The one behind Arsenal at the moment. Henderson just sets up his wall inside of the area. Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount posted over this. Fernandes plays it short. Mason Mount sends it goalwards, and he found his way all the way through into the bottom quarter. Crystal Palace furious that the referee allowed the free kick to go ahead. But Henderson was searching out his word. The pass was played short by Fernandes. And Mason Mount's first time here into the bottom corner was chucked away. Crystal Palace still flourished, but Rob Jones allowing things to continue. Dean Henderson just punched the ball away from the back of his goal. The turnaround is complete for Manchester United. While Henderson was sorting the ball out and making his way across, it was played short by Fernandes. And then drilled short by Mason Mount into the bottom corner. But I don't think Mount looked even too ready for the effort or the pass from Bruno Fernandes. Nobody was stood in that sort of area. It took a while for any Crystal Palace players to react. And into the bottom corner it goes. Henderson could have readjusted properly. Expected the Will to do his job. I don't think he's taken a touch from anyone on his way through, but he's managed his way all the way through. Now, whatever was said at half time by Ruben Amorim has clearly inspired this Manchester United side into this second half. It's a complete turnaround. Crystal Palace just haven't looked like they're getting going in this second half so far. A shell of the Crystal Palace side was showing the first half, and Manchester United now hold a 2-1 lead over them, and how that could change things in the Premier League table. Out to Mason Mount now on the left-hand side to Dalot. Dalot tries to beat Richard. He's with Diallo now. Holds play up, plays it inside. Wilton intercepts, but he's still back to Zirkzee. Now to Mount. Mount switches this over to the right-hand side. Into space there is Amad Diallo. He's up against Lukoy at the moment. Inside and to his left foot. Can he get a shot away? Sends it goalwards and he goes over. And you can tell at the moment the confidence in his Manchester United side is continuing to grow. It moves Manchester United up into 6th place. It pushes Crystal Palace down a further place into 7th. But Diallo, who gets the ball wide right, brings it in past Tyreek Mitchell. He goes up against Yemi Pino, but still stays standing onto the edge of the area. He gets his left-footed shot over, but Manchester United are definitely the better side. As Sergi lays this off for a bit on a chance for perhaps a third for Manchester United. Tackle made by Richards. It goes through to Henderson, who receives a nudge there from Diallo. Still manages to stay inside of his area. Rolls this out to the right-hand side. Oliver Glasner absolutely furious at the moment with the decision, I suppose, by the referee to allow the free kick to be taken. It will be considered controversial, but regardless, it is a goal. And over the top from Chris Richards goes all the way through, away by Mazraoui, and then on by Mason Mount. Bino brings this down. Now Kamada, back to Lacroix. Now Gay, back to Lacroix again. Inside of the centre circle, inside of his own half. And back to Gay. And then back inside to Lacroix. Out to the right-hand side for Munoz. Munoz through the middle for Kamada. Kamada's got space to turn on the ball on the edge of the area. Gets it towards the inside the area. Drags this back, loses his foot in. And away it goes by Casemiro. And now the flag goes up against the run from Adam Wharton. And that is the correct decision. Just again, took a while to get flag to though. And Lemons plays the short to Luke Shaw. And back to Lemons on the edge of the 6-yard box. Closed down by Mateta. Away he goes by Lemons upfield. He's going to chase this down. Turns back on the ball, takes it towards the halfway line. He's still got Burma over his shoulder, through the middle to Pino. Pino takes his first touch to try and beat Luke Shaw, but the tackle comes in from the Manchester United centre back, and Richards clearance comes off of Mason Mount. There'll be a third Crystal Palace on the right-hand side, which Munoz will go across to take. He's fast. Bruno Fernandes just asks the referee for a moment, and now he's back to his feet and able to continue with the game. Munoz just bow down for back to Munoz. Up to Mateta. Headed away towards Casemiro by De Ligt. And a free kick is given to Crystal Palace. Stood over this is Jerry Pino with plays forward again for Crystal Palace. Manchester United bringing everyone back to the edge of the area to deal with this defensively. This goes over towards the back post. Chris Richards heads this back in towards the middle, and Bruno brings this down on the edge of the area and tries to get away from Kamada. Mazraoui on the right hand side eventually gets the ball away, headed down by Wharton. Now with Gay. Tackle made by Burmel, and it falls to Kamada again by the touchline. Goes back to Tyreek Mitchell this time. He's had to go all the way back to his goalkeeper. It's with Henderson. And Henderson gets the ball away. Up towards Richards. Heads this on and away it goes by De Ligt. Still with Gay on the edge of the area. Cross goes in towards the middle. And Nketiah heads this on, but he's just wide. In a big goal kick to Manchester United. And Lemons will take this goal kick, and he's taken his time to do so. He's not going to be in a rush now to get things going again. Up to his left-hand side it goes. Headed away by Richards. Now with Nketiah. Tackle made by Bruno Fernandes. Going on the right-hand side for Crystal Palace. So down the line towards Eddie Nketiah. He can't keep this in play, and it's out from Manchester United, thrown on the left-hand side. Taken by Dallo, headed on by Xerxes. Nobody's there, and it's going to be retrieved by Lacroix. Back to Henderson, now to Gay, to the edge of the area. Gay through the middle to Wharton. Wharton now to Kamada, lets the ball run across, and then he's brought down by Casemiro. I imagine that may well be the yellow card there as well for Casemiro. No, he's done away with one. He got a card earlier for a similar sort of challenge. Now it's with Mark Gay. Over the top. Chased down by Saint-Rick Michel, but it's bounced again all the way through into the arms of Lemons. Lemons drops his ball on the edge of the 6-yard box to his feet and plays this out short to Mazraoui. Murray gets the ball away down the right-hand side. Headed on by Diallo. And nudging the back there on Mark Gay, who's gone down. Picks the ball up, takes the free kick quickly. Inside to Kamada, back to Gay, now to Kamada again. Down the left-hand side for Mitchell. Inside towards Adam Wharton, now Kamada. Fair play to Manchester United. They were alert and very reactive to a quick free kick that was taken by Mark Gay. It's forced Crystal Palace into their own half, and what they was hoping would create them a counter-attack while Manchester United was in a way. Thrown on the left-hand side now for United, and across goes Diogo Dallo to take it. Is Bruno Fernandes again. We'll just take a moment. See if sorted his lace. So she's back towards the halfway line. It's controlled by Luke Shaw. Here's the ball into De Ligt. De Ligt out right for Mazraoui. Mazraoui outright to Diallo. Vistich dribbles this inside. Now appeal to Xerxes. Inside to Casemiro. Inside of the centre circle still. Now to the left-hand side. Chested down now by Mason Mount. Then driving forward goes Diogo Dallo. He's this time taking it past of Chris Richards, and the referee is not fallen for it and tells Diogo Dallo to get back to his feet. He feels that it was should have got a free kick for a very similar position to where Manchester United scored their second goal from. It was an outstretched right leg by Richards. Just going to have a look. I mean, he's tripped him. His outstretched right leg's just caught the knee of Diogo Dallo as he's going forward. And despite that one didn't go as a free kick. The referee's now going to give a yellow card to Luke Shaw for it. Comments towards the referee on the back of it. Didn't seem very happy with the referee's decision. And it's Crystal Palace come away with the ball. He trips Eddie Nketiah in the build-up. Free kicks Palace just inside of Manchester United's half now to Richards. With his feint assist to let it go past Mason Mount now to the right-hand side for Munoz. Under pressure goes back to Wharton. Wharton's ball over the top. Held away by Mazraoui. Seats down on the right-hand side by Tyreek Mitchell. But his momentum takes him and the ball both out of play, and the Manchester United thrown on the right-hand side is the outcome. Then United not in a rush to do so. Last 18 minutes of regular time. No different as Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 2. A second half turnaround, a much more inspired Manchester United performance in this second half. But don't forget, we've also got coverage of the other Premier League games taking place this afternoon for you. We've got Aston Villa against Wolves, Nottingham Forest against Brighton, West Ham against Liverpool, before at 4:30 Chelsea take on Arsenal. Well, it goes by Gay back to the left-hand side. Face down towards Pierre Bino. He can't keep the ball in play. Although Manchester United throw in, and he's given the ball to Mazraoui to take this throw in. Held it up, it goes to Xerxes. Heads this on now to Casemiro. And now Fernandez out to the right-hand side, but it's away by Munoz. Into space for Pino to chase, headed away by De Ligt. Now with Mount. Now Xerxes. Back to Fernandez. Fernandez out to the right-hand side now from Mazraoui, who's making this run forward. He's closed down by Kamara. Has the support there in the end by Diallo. Diallo takes it towards the corner flag. Brings it back for Kamara. Brought down on the edge of the area now is Mazraoui. It will be a free kick to Manchester United out on the right-hand side. It's going to be a yellow card to Margay. He's only committed the foul for the second goal. Anything books on this occasion. Bruno Fernandes, Brian Mbeumo both stood over the free kick at the man for Manchester United. Upton's in the middle, coming up from the back, while Mbeumo's now stepped away, so it's Bruno Fernandes only stood over the free kick. So firmly it's there to be Lynchland cross into the middle. And the edge of the area. Still can be a threat for United as it goes in towards the middle. It's just a finish from Tyreek Mitchell. It makes things tougher. Played away by Mateta to the edge of the area. Effort goes from Dallo into the stands, and a big goal kick for Crystal Palace. And now the urgency is certainly there from Dean Henderson, knowing with 15 minutes left his side need to try and get themselves something more out of this. Let's just see again the goal that was scored by Mason Mount. Players that have really struggled to make a breakaway in this Manchester United side have got themselves on the score sheet this afternoon. Certainly a statement for both of those. A statement from Manchester United in general, a side that is starting to drift away from European qualification places. Taking Nketiah brings this down. Bruno Fernandes is tackled. Dado gets in there for the second time, and now it's an overlapping run by Fernandes. Brings it back inside. He's got Xerxes there for support. His ball forward towards Bernal. He gets there ahead of Gay. He's with Xerxes and Bernal, but now I don't know what to do with it. He's blown to Bernal in the end. Can he get his shot goal as he can? And he's held on to by Lemons, by Henderson. But it was a poor build-up from Manchester United. It was a good ball over, and Bernal gets there, knocks the ball past Gay. But then between him and Xerxes, they're not quite sure who's taking the shot away, who's going away with the ball or anything. Xerxes immediately apologises to Bernal after the chance is gone. Now away goes by Lacroix, flipped on by Pino, chased down by Nketiah. Shaw gets there ahead of him. Plays it back now for Mazraoui. Headed away by Kamada. Pino's going to chase it. Mateta's going to get there ahead of him. He's up against Mazraoui at the moment. Legs gets handballed. Referee's giving a free kick to Manchester United on the edge of the area. Said it was Mateta on Mazraoui that has led to the free kick. I think it's Mazraoui. She's got in between the two of them. Yeah, Mazraoui is invited that from Mateta, but smart defending in the end. Didn't many for a couple of changes for Crystal Palace. Wolf Hughes is going to be one of those, and Uche is going to be the other. You just see who it is that's going to be making way. Adam Walker is going to be the first to leave the field, so Walton off and Will Hughes on in his place. Change number 1. Yemid Pino is also going to be coming off, and he's the replaced by Iche. And those are your 2 changes for Palace. Still with a belief that they can get something out of this, and so they should. Now to Shaw, goes to Bill to Mazraoui. Now Casemiro, now to Diallo. He's had to stop back into his own half to get there. Mitchell was providing the press. He goes back to Lemons. Lemons gets down away. Headed on by Xerxes out to Mason Mount. Headed down by Lacroix. And back out to Mount. Into his own half now for the pass back to Shaw. Now Mount, now Bruno Fernandes. And back to Shaw. Now Fernandez. Throw into his own half. Now with De Ligt. Plus the Mazraoui. Mitchell's been out to close him down as he gets on the way down the left-hand side. First to it is Margay. Comes away with the ball. Inside to Kamada. One into Matete. Is on the ball and it's out to the left-hand side now to Nketiah. Turns away by Mazraoui. Gets to Bruno Fernandes. Those a tackle it against Will Hughes. He stayed down at the moment. Zerzi lays this up. And it's fallen now favourably to Mason Mount. And a chance for Manchester United still to press forward. Now to Diallo. Inside he takes this. Across the middle. Casemiro. Now to the halfway line now to De Ligt. And now Fernandes. Inside of the centre circle. Waits for Vitesse to get to him and plays it across to De Ligt. And out to Mazraoui. To De Ligt under pressure from Mateta. Away it goes by Matisse De Ligt all the way through to Henderson. On his side of the area, he collects the ball, rolls out now to Gay. Day back inside to Lacroix. Helps it. Nketiah. Pipped on the ball but loses his foot. It is a breakaway now for Manchester United again, driving through the middle of the Mohamed Diallo. Out to Brian Mbeumo. Press comes in towards Zirkzee in the middle. It's over him and is punched away by Henderson. Going to be chased down on the right-hand side by Mazraoui, who keeps it in play. So that tackle comes in from Nketiah. It's going to be a throw into Manchester United on the right-hand side. Despite Nketiah fearing that it should have gone in Crystal Palace's favour. The last 10 minutes of regular time plus any added time at the end of this half. Diallo stood over, ready to take the throw in. Dempsey comes short, then throws the ball, plays it back towards Bruno Fernandes. Tackle comes in and away comes Eddie Nketiah. And as the tackle's made by Mazraoui, it's ricocheted back off the shins of Nketiah. It'll be a throw into Manchester United out on the right-hand side, though the glass that he's looking on at the moment. Past 12 home games in the Premier League for Crystal Palace. They've won 6 and drawn 6 without a defeat since February of this year. In the Premier League. Shaw plays this upfield. In off to Bruno Fernandes. Now to Zirkzee. Back to Bruno Fernandes. Over the top on the right-hand side. Chased down now by Mbeumo. Takes this to the edge of the area. He's up against Tyreek Mitchell. Brings this back onto the edge of the area for Bruno Fernandes. Pass comes in towards the middle. Just over the head of De Ligt. It is fallen to Mason Mount, who's plus back across the middle. He's put behind Max as the corner. We'll have another corner out on the left-hand side for Manchester United. More defensive work for Crystal Palace to face. Henderson trying to catch to the ball just to stop it from going behind, and we will see another change for Manchester United on the way. And we'll see the introduction of Lisandro Martinez. He's coming on for Luke Shaw, who received a booking. So like-for-like change at the back for Manchester United. It will happen, and he'll go straight upfield to attack this set piece. There's an injury corner on his leg from Bruno Fernandes from the left-hand side. He's just waiting for the substitute to get into the area. Find himself as a bit of a threat. Goes towards the back post, headed back across the face of goal, and a free kick's been given in Crystal Palace's favour. We're in Beaven on Dean Henderson inside of the 6-yard box. Stuck in rear was it? Oh, it was Diogo Dalot. He's quite clearly blocked the Crystal Palace keeper. Referee's not hesitated to give a free kick. And away it goes by Dean Henderson. I think it's been quite a good game so far by Rob Jones on all the counts. And now with Zirkzee. Now to the left-hand side. Going to be chased down now by Mason Mount. He's up against Richards at the moment. Switches it over to the right-hand side. Diallo's going to try and get there. It's headed away by Tyreek Mitchell towards Kamada, who's up against Brian Mbeumo at the moment on the left-hand side. Kamada has to go back into his own half. Plays it back to Dean Henderson on the edge of his 6-yard box. Gets the ball away before Mbeumo gets there. Upfield it goes, headed down by Mazraoui. In Casemiro out to the right-hand side for Mbeumo. Now to Diallo. Mbeumo's continued his run as Diallo plays this back instead to Mazraoui. Now inside to Casemiro. And now De Ligt. Cross to Martinez for his first touch of the game. Martinez out to the left-hand side for Dalot. That over the top into the channel. This comes straight into the stands, and it will be throwing to Crystal Palace as a smear coming from the left wing back of Manchester United after he caught the ball completely wrong with an outside of the foot pass intended. Now Majlawi from Berman. Ball holds up slightly. Still on the edge of the area with Brian Burma. That brings this inside past Tyrick Mitchell. Can he get his shot away? Yes, he does. Just wide. And Brian Burma, nice finesse effort, targeted towards the top corner. Just sailed past the post. But again, wide right. Just dribbles this inside past Tyrick Mitchell and gets it past Kamana. It's all too easy on that right-hand side. And now we'll see another double change by Crystal Palace. And it will be just into Benny. The other one coming on, and Jefferson Lerner will be the other one coming on. That's a lot of advice from Oliver Glasner. So just into Benny and Jefferson Lerner, the two coming on. At the expense, we'll see the departure of Tyrick Mitchell and Daiki Kamada. So those are your two changes, the final two changes for Crystal Palace. We're into the final 5 minutes of this game. Away by Henderson. Diallo tries to head it away, but he can't clear it off the edge of the area. It's with Lerner. Tries to hold this ball, but he can't do so. Heading away, not once, but twice by the Curry inside of his own. Off brought down by Will Hughes. Out to the left-hand side now. DeVetti's going to chase this down on the edge of the area. Gets his cross in towards the middle. It goes goalwards instead. It goes over. And it'll be a goal kick now to Manchester United. Lemons, of course, with no rush to do so. Manchester United still with multiple changes available should they choose to use them. Some good options available on the bench as well. The side that's on the field at the moment have built quite a rhythm. Those changes they've made have been defensive. Done by Zerzi. Samir out to his left-hand side, but it's been let to minute to play by Daniel Munoz. And throw into Crystal Palace. Throws this down the line. Brought down by Nketiah. Tackle made by Casemiro again. Up 10 yards gained by Crystal Palace. Munoz again with the throw-in. Throws it down to Uche this time. Used to beat his man, but free kick being given to Crystal Palace. From beside the touchdown as the flag was waved by the linesman immediately. Jones appreciates and utilises the support. And there were two challenges in there. It could have been Martinez just with the slight nudge or the trip that was made by Casemiro first, but it's a free kick in a dangerous position. Will Hughes can put a good cross into the box. Look through the back. Marquet, LaCroix, and Richards all in there. Lerma's in there as well. Pateta around the area. Buche's in there, and Manchester United post a few yards further back just to where the wall is positioned. Will Hughes, can he get a good cross in? Goes in towards the edge of the area, headed away by Zirks. He falls back to Munoz. Shakes to pass back towards Will Hughes, but Mberno's equal to it. Headed back down by Will Hughes into the area, and away it goes by Casemiro. Headed back down, and now with Nketiah. Now with LaCroix on the edge of the area. The flag goes up against Nketiah. Be a free kick to Manchester United inside of the area. Just looking at the replay to see just how clear he was in an offside position. Yep, Landry's got it absolutely spot on. And Manchester United players had their hand up raised for offside as well. I think Oliver Glasner's frustration there was directed more at the delay in which it took for LaCroix to get back into an onside position than it was at the decision being made. Away it goes by Lemons, headed away by Richards, brought down by Inferno, and Nketiah goes in with the tackle, turns out the ball away from Will Hughes, advantage given Palace. Hughes plays it out to his left-hand side now for Lerman. Lerman can take this up toward the halfway line, continues pushing forward, he's got Deveni there for support, plays it up to Gay instead, and then back to Lerman, across to LaCroix. Inside of Palace's half at the moment, now with Richards, back to LaCroix. Inside of the centre circle is closed down by Zert, he turns back on the ball again. Back to Richards. And then LaCroix. Up to the left-hand side to Deveni. Deveni's first ball over the top, headed away by Nazraoui. Into Crystal Palace's off. Now with Gay, now Lerner. just inserting it around the midfield area. He's closed down by Bruno Fernandes. So there's a pass off to Ricketts on the right-hand side now for Munoz. Munoz further down the right-hand side for Yuchi. He's by the touchline. As Hughes there, full support, goes back towards the halfway line to Richards. Now inside to Jefferson Lerner and across to Maxence Lacroix. Inside of the centre circle, time is running out for Crystal Palace. Richards now forward to Will Hughes. Takes his first touch to bring this inside, opens up a bit more space and plays it to his left for Jefferson Lerner. Prepared to play that across instead to Mark Gay, but he's now out to Daniel Munoz. And back to Richards. And now inside to Lerman. Now Hughes on the edge of the area. Turns away again. Looks for Gay on the left-hand side. Wants the free kick. Referee's given advantage to Crystal Palace as Lerman gets the ball now to Mark Gay. Into the left-hand side for Devetti. Back to Gay again. It's closed down by Mbemo. United very much on the back foot at the moment as Richards down the right-hand side finds some space here. Can he get across in? No, instead goes back to Lerma on the edge of the area. Now to Munoz. Now to Richards. Richards by the touchline through the middle for Huey. First touch holds his play up. He's looking for supporting up to his bus comes in. He's blocked by Casemiro. Away by Lisandro Martinez. Hughes will go for the header against Casemiro, who wins in, plays inside to Bruno Fernandes. Ahmed clears away. Yuchi tries the through ball. Is blocked well by Dallo. Balls to Martinez. Clears away. Up towards the halfway line out of play. It's going to be a throw to Crystal Palace on the right-hand side. Last 10 seconds of regular time. Any added time to be added on? We are now into the added time. Crystal Palace firmly in the ascendancy in Manchester United's half. Just need to get themselves the chance away. And now Manchester United will make the next two changes. And Dorgu will be coming on for Diallo. And Kobe Mainoo will be coming on for Brian Mbeumo. So very defensive approach to finish things off for Manchester United. The both attacking wingers coming off. 4 minutes of added time has been given to determine whether we will see Crystal Palace getting themselves back into this as Mbeumo is slow to leave the field. He's already on a yellow card. Can't afford the referee to book him again. It would stop the substitution entirely. Kobe Mainoo comes on in his place. So Ahmad Diallo and Brian Mbeumo off. Kobe Mainoo and Torgu on. Manchester United to try and Shutuk shot. Going on the right-hand side now. Jefferson Lerman is across to take. One flow into the area. Was the edge of the 6-yard box. Headed on by Richards. Shot by Nketiah is blocked by the back of Fernandes. Back into the middle by Gaby. And now to Munoz. To the right-hand side. Just kept in play there. And it's going to go out of play down the line from Manchester United down from beside the corner flag. Bruno Fernandes holding on to his hamstring area. Trying to see himself through for these last few minutes of the game for his side to hang on. So it would be a very, very important 3 points. And in the battle for European football, the side is there or thereabouts. 3 points over then could be huge come the later stages of the season. Be very real difference makers. He's headed out and playing a throw for Crystal Palace on the right-hand side. Custos, Jefferson, Lerma to take everybody into the area. We go. Another chance for Palace to maybe get themselves on the score sheet. It was a very slow start to the second half, which is what led to this goal deficit. Going short to Munoz, crossing towards the middle, headed away again, and away comes Kobe Mainoo, and he's been brought down by Jefferson. Lerma will be a free kick now on the edge of the area, and the yellow card should a substitute. Just a late tackle as Manchester United was starting a counter-attack. I don't think it would have come to a goal, as that have more than likely just played a bit more reserved and held on to possession, which is what a player expects to see them doing now to the last minute and 20 seconds of this game. He stood over the free kick is Lemons. And over to the left-hand side it goes, headed on by Dorgan into the channel. Richards away up towards the halfway line, headed on towards Yuchi by Lerman. One back by Dorgan, away by Martinez. Over the top it goes now with Henderson. Henderson sending everybody into Manchester United's half. Can Henderson get the ball away? Up towards deep into Manchester United's half. That's gone. Headed away again by Dorgu. Brought down by Richards. Now for Hughes. Back to Richards. at the halfway line. Chip ball over the top by Richards towards the back post, headed away by Dorgy. Down by Lerman, now with Hughes on the edge of the area. Hughes turns back to get a shot away in Park Dushel. He's closed down by Kobe Mainu, and across it goes now to Richards, now LaCroix. Now to the left-hand side for Devaney, and plenty of space. Cross goes in towards the middle, doesn't make it into the area, headed away by Mainu. Further away by Mann, going to be chased down by Bruno Fernandes, but he's lost out on the ball to LaCroix. LaCroix comes away with it for Crystal Palace, now with Hughes on the edge of the area. He's bundled down, and he's a free kick on the edge of the area in a dangerous position. Casemiro's the one that's committed the foul. We've had the 4 minutes of added time, and Crystal Palace have a free kick in a very dangerous position with a chance to draw level right at the end of the game, as Hughes was setting up to get a shot away, and Ketcher was wanted the ball fed through, but not too much Hughes can do about it when Casemiro is climbing all over him. Can Crystal Palace get themselves an equalising goal? With mere seconds left in this game. Will Hughes stood over the free kick. Justin Devaney stood over the free kick. Lamens has just sorted his wall out and will make his way across. Mason Mount laid down behind the wall, just trying to ensure that he is behind where the wall is placed for any low effort that goes under. Looks like it is Devaney that's going to be striking this. Everybody forward for Crystal Palace at this point. Everybody back. Everybody inside the area from Manchester United. This might well be the last chance we get as the game. Devaney's effort hits the wall and he's cleared away. Going to be chased down on the left-hand side. If Crystal Palace going to have a chance to get across back in. No, they don't. The full time whistle goes. And after Matete's penalty on the second attempt was converted, give Crystal Palace a lead and in towards half-time. And revitalised the rejuvenated Manchester United side heading into the second half. First of all, through Joshua Zirkzee, after ball over the top by Bruno Fernandes, found him in space at the most acute of angles. Managed to squeeze the ball past Dean Henderson into the bottom corner to draw things level. And a few minutes later, very similar free kick from the edge of the area. Bruno Fernandes took this quickly and laid it off to Mason Mount. Crystal Palace was struggling to get going at the beginning of the second half, and ultimately that's why they walk away with no points. It's finished at Selhurstpark.